Carthage Manor by Sarah Torres. Gerontology is the study of the biological, psychological, and social aspects of aging. I chose to do my service learning at a nursing home facility named Carthage Center in the city of Carthage, New York, next to the Carthage Area Hospital. The nursing home has a maximum occupancy of 90 beds, and I was informed that they are full at this time. Carthage Center also provides rehab to patients, both long-term stay as a resident and short-term rehab to patients that will recover and return home. Carthage Center welcomes any patient regardless of the mental disability or age. The only reason a patient would not be approved for residency would be if their facility was not capable of meeting that individual's medical needs. Before acceptance, each resident has a cognitive assessment, and this assessment is repeated every 3 months to assure they are keeping up with the medical and emotional needs of each resident. As stated in our textbook, this assessment refers to individual competence, which is the theoretical upper limit of an individual's ability to function in different areas. The higher a person's competence, the higher the level of environmental stresses that can be tolerated. The Carthage Center employs about 130 employees and has about 20 volunteers. The number of volunteers does fluctuate constantly. The goal of the facility is to make the final years of any resident's life to be joyful and comfortable. As stated on their website, it is about caring, compassion, and commitment. My first impression of the facility and its residents was a positive one. I was given a tour of the entire nursing facility and briefly saw the rehab room. Both activity directors are very informative and friendly. They introduced me to every resident we walked past and those that joined in each activity. The staff clearly knows and loves each resident individually. They know their families and ask the residents about their families often. The facility is very brightly lit, and the residents are happy and appear to be loved. They also have a high level of security in place in case a resident attempts to leave the premises. Residents with low cognitive function or dementia or Alzheimer's wear a special pendant that signals the door to lock if they get too close, to prevent them from walking out the door. A sign-in sheet for every visitor that comes in and out of the facility is documented. The office staff can view all persons entering and leaving the building through a large glass window, almost the size of the wall. They do welcome anyone that wants to come help out and visit the residents. They all love the company. I volunteered 6 different days for 2 hours each day for a total of 12 hours. My service included helping residents to their rooms and activities, doing residents' nails, helping with crafts, assisting a resident paralyzed from muscular sclerosis play bingo a couple times, helping with cleanup wherever they need me, plenty of conversation with residents. I got drinks for residents and even danced with residents. Carthage provides a variety of activities daily from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Danielle and Mary keep the residents moving and their attitudes positive. Pianists have come in to entertain, organize seasonal crafts and games. Bingo is obviously a favorite. Mind-strengthening exercises and lots of snack eating go on. I have noticed many physical changes in most of the residents as well, which includes severe wrinkling of the skin, the smell of their breath, crippled hands, muscle loss and hair loss, and memory loss. One of our class discussions was whether aging could be slowed down or reversed. A few of the residents that have severely wrinkled skin were heavy smokers when they were younger. Some residents just stopped smoking in recent years. Also, the ultraviolet light from the sun can result in damages to the elastic fibers, resulting in wrinkled, dry, and tougher texture of skin known as photoaging or eccentric aging. Darker pigmentation, known as melanin, is produced by the body to protect itself from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Older people who have jobs outside, such as farmers, and there's lots of farming in this area, have a higher chance to suffer from this skin aging. They also can develop liver spots or age spots. Dry mouth due to medications can cause unpleasant smells in the mouth. Lean body mass in muscle tissue is lost and the appropriate proportion of fat increases. Older people who maintain a vigorous exercise program can prevent significant loss of muscle tone. It is evident which of the residents had active lifestyles and which residents did not. One male resident, age 85, will talk forever about how wonderful his running days were and how he competed. He is very thin. Most males in the nursing facility have a protruding belly. He does not. He is also able to move himself in his wheelchair without assistance, primarily with his legs. If an older person suffers from a fall resulting in broken bones or surgeries from broken bones, can result them in being fearful to participate in the active lifestyles they once had. Then they are bound to a wheelchair, which promotes loss of muscle due to inactivity. My grandmother, age 90, suffers from osteoporosis, a disease that makes the bones less dense, more porous, and more prone to fracture. She has broken several bones in the last 12 years. Her fingers and toes are extremely crippled. I have noticed this with the residents in Carthage Center as well. Some have trouble feeding themselves, but they will not always let others help, so it takes a very long time to eat because it is so difficult for them. Shoulder width also decreases with age due to bone loss, weakened muscles, and loss of elasticity in ligaments. This results in a decreased range of motion. So if a bingo chip or a card falls to the floor during the game, either I or another volunteer has to retrieve the item because they can no longer bend down to pick up the items. I have also noticed that some drop the cups they are holding when they are drinking water or coffee, and this is due to grip strength declining by 50% in men between ages 30 to 75 and even less in women. As we age, the appearance and texture of our hair changes. Hair thickness decreases by as much as 20% in diameter by age 70. We all lose up to 60 strands daily during our youth and early adulthood. The hair is replaced regularly through the action of the estrogen and testosterone. As we age, more hairs are lost and replaced, especially in men. I observed that most of the men in Carthage Center are bald, and the women's hair is very thin. Many of the Carthage residents suffer from memory loss. Some cannot remember where they were going as they walked out the door or what your name was when they've asked you 2 minutes ago. They've been diagnosed with memory diseases such as Alzheimer's, which is the progressive mental deterioration that can occur in middle or old age. This is generalized degeneration of the brain. It is most common cause of premature senility, or dementia, which is caused by damage of the brain tissue, resulting in impaired memory and producing incoherent speech, inability or limitations in recognizing or identifying objects, limitations in executing and comprehending motor tasks, and thinking abstractly and performing executive functions. When I took my daughter, my youngest daughter, age 8, to meet the residents at Carthage Center, we played a memory game, and the memory game, they made no matches. My daughter, age 8, made the matches almost instantly and had 15 matches before any of the other older residents, age 80 plus, had one. This is a perfect example of how dementia can affect day-to-day life. One of the biggest challenges I have encountered during my service learning experience has been when residents need or ask for help, and I am not allowed to help them. Nurses are trained to adjust a patient in a wheelchair, help them to the bathroom, cut their nails, adjust their hearing aid, and many other things. There is nothing I can do unless I become a CNA and work at the nursing home facility. One of the last incidents was when I attempted to leave the facility after my volunteering hours and the door was locked. I didn't realize that the gentleman behind me tried to escape many times a day, and he wore a sensor around his neck that locked the door if he got too close. He was yelling he wanted to go home, and there was nothing I could do. His pleading broke my heart. He literally didn't understand that Carthage Nursing Center was now his home. He is one of the patients at Carthage Center that suffers from dementia. And again, dementia is caused by the damage of the brain tissue, resulting in impaired memory and produces incoherent speech, inability or limitations in recognizing or identifying objects, limitations in executing and comprehending motor tasks, and thinking abstractly and performing executive functions. Being kind, gentle, and understanding can be a big help to residents who suffer from these mental illnesses. I just hugged the gentleman and went out the door. Other challenges that I experience: many old individuals, age 85 plus, experience what is called a bereavement overload. They just don't lose a spouse. They have to sell their house and divide its contents and move into a nursing home facility, all in a very short period of time. Most individuals that survive to this age have also lost siblings and friends recently, or over the course of their many years of being alive. So they mourn the loss of their spouses or their spouse, their friends, family, home, the belongings and the traditions that went on in the home and in earlier years of life. My grandma is the last surviving of her entire immediate family. My grandma struggled with the fact that holiday celebrations would no longer be under her roof. They would be different forever. The residents at Carthage Center would often say they miss their homes and their family members who are no longer living. Another challenge is having to say "see you later." It is very challenging every time you volunteer. When you walk out the door, you just do not know if you'll ever see those individuals again. You build a relationship and rapport with all of these wonderful people. And saying "see you later" is kind of a lost promise, because you just don't know if they're going to survive and you'll see them the next time you visit. I learned so much while volunteering at Carthage Center. Aging refers to the changes that take place in an organism throughout the lifespan. Everything good, bad, and neutral. Aging is not just physical. We all age emotionally and mentally as well. I understand why some individuals have such a hard time in their final years of life. It's not just the physical changes and limitations that are hard to bear. It is mostly the loss of family, friends, home, and mind that make it so unbearable. If an individual suffers from dementia or Alzheimer's, not only are they sad, but they can't remember why, so they stay in a state of sad confusion. Acceptance and positive attitude make the aging process not only better, but healthier too. Those that are strong in faith do not fear the end of life or what will come next. They are confident that they are going to a better place and are at peace with death.